Hello, my name is Cindy Scott and I'm a senior consultant at AX Mentor. Today we'll take a walkthrough on how to reconcile your accounts receivable account. You can find this article's link with step-by-step details in the video description. With that said, let's get started. To reconcile your accounts receivable accounts, what we want to do is reconcile the GL accounts associated with our customer subledger accounts. So the first thing we want to do is find out which GL account or accounts are tied to our customer subledger accounts. We're going to look at this in our customer posting profiles in the AR setup section. And we're going to go to our general posting profile, setup fast tab. And in this case, we see that our customer subledger accounts are all posting to the same summary account. So this is the ledger account for our accounts receivable. So we're going to take a look now at the balance for GL account 130100. So let's switch over to our general ledger module. Now we can see the period balances either from the main accounts period balances form, or we can look at the trial balance form or report. So in this case, let's look at our trial balance form. And we're going to reconcile as of October 31st. So let's check our parameters. We see that our to date is October 31st. I'll go ahead and click update. And for our accounts receivable account 130100, we see our closing balance is $10,650,000. So I'm going to copy this just to keep track of it. I have an Excel spreadsheet ready, and I'm going to paste that balance in here so we can compare it to our AR aging balance. Okay, so let's switch back over to the accounts receivable module and run our AR aging report. So that's going to be in the report section, status, and customer aging. So we're going to run it as of October 31st. We'll go ahead and run by due date. In this case, let's run by summary. You can also run it by details, which is more common, but in this case, we'll run by summary. We definitely want to make sure to include negative balances, as those also roll into our balance for the GL account. And in this case, we do not have any selection criteria set. If you have more than one AR aging account for your ledger, you may want to put selection criteria in to filter out certain customer groups or customers. In this case, they all post the same way, so we'll leave that clear and click OK. Okay, here we'll see our customer aging report balance is $10,640,000. If we go back to our Excel spreadsheet, we see the GL balance was a little higher. So I'm just going to type this in, and we'll see our discrepancy is $10,000. Now we need to go find what is making up that discrepancy. So let's close out of our aging report. The first thing we'll want to do is go back to the general ledger module, and there are canned reports for some reconciliation in different modules. In this case, we want to look at the reconciliation for the customer account. So what this will do is look at the posting profile summary account and compare it to the customer subledger. So let's go ahead and run this. If we know that our prior period reconciled and we know the discrepancy was caused in this current period, we only need to run this report for the period we are working on. So in this case, we're going to run with a from date of October 1st and a to date of October 31st. And then we know the posting profile that we're using is our general posting profile. So we want to select that here. We do want to see the details, so we do want to see which transactions are causing our discrepancy, and then also we only want to see the differences. If something's in balance, we don't need to see this on this report. And we'll click OK. And we do in fact see that there is one transaction where there's a posting to the ledger, but not the customer. So this report would pick up the reverse as well if for some reason there was a posting on the customer that did not hit our posting profile ledger accounts. So in this case, we do in fact have the answer for our discrepancy of $10,000, We can also drill into the voucher to inquire, what happened with this particular voucher and how did it come to be that it threw our AR balance out of whack. So let's just look at that real quick. We can go to the inquiries, voucher transactions. We saw the voucher had a GN prefix and was number 127. Can click OK, and we can see the history of this transaction. In this case, there's a very nice description here. There was an auditor reclassification. So somebody posted directly to the ledger account without going through the customer account. You can drill into the original document to see the journal that created this and do some research from there, reclassify if necessary, and so forth. The other thing that we want to do here is make sure that this accounts receivable summary account is locked down so users cannot post directly to this account. So that's what happened in this particular case. The account somehow was not locked. Somebody posted directly to it. So we can check that in the main accounts and look at our GL account. And we can see here at the bottom of the screen, there's a do not allow manual entry parameter. In this case, it is marked, so it's quite possible a user temporarily unmarked this checkbox and then remarked it to lock it down again. So we want to make sure that this is always marked. Okay, going back to our reconciliation report, if for some reason this did not reveal the cause of our discrepancy, another thing I recommend doing is comparing one of the customer balance lists to the customer aging report. Sometimes the customer aging report can be off due to something like settlement dates. For some reason, a user used a settlement date that maybe settled the transaction before it technically existed in AX or something like this. So remember, the customer aging shows a balance that's due as of a particular date, and it does look at when it was paid, when it was settled, and so forth. The customer balance list reports will look at transaction balances from the customer. So this sometimes can yield the discrepancy if you kind of look at if you compare the customer aging to the customer balance list by customer. That often will reveal the discrepancy. So this is how we reconcile our accounts receivable account, and it works the same way for your accounts payable accounts. The similar reports are there, the general ledger balances, and so forth. So I hope this walkthrough was helpful. If you have any questions at all, please leave your comments in the blog link located at the video description, or send your questions to info@axmentor.com.